Messianco, breaking Major League en la ciudad del sol. Here in Miami, we know who's el campeón. Leo my team, Suarez on the field, Alex wedding dating. Como usted ya son win, the trio Fabi singing muchachos. Las familias se escuchan los barrios. Esta camiseta pinky la llevan todos los guachos. Los rookies quedan sin comentarios. Messi ambetea, tiki-taki gol. El estadio Chase bañado en gloria y sudor. Aquí se ama y se respeta el balón. Florida es tu casa, acostúmbrate al calor. Estate listo pa' Messianco. Estate listo pa' Messianco.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Messi & Co., brought to you by 305-800-PAIN. Available 24/7, always ready to take your call after an accident, gives you immediate attention, has fast connections with trusted doctors and attorneys, a community-focused, local committed brand with trust and credibility, and an A+ rating with the BBB accreditation. Accident specialists for car injury, personal injury, legal matters. Easy to remember. 305-800-PAIN. Thank you guys so much for sponsoring today's episode. And with that being said, welcome, like I said, to another episode of Messi & Co. I'm Ashley, here as always with my incredible co-hosts Gian and Matt. How are we doing, boys? What's up? Welcome back.
It feels good to be back. The only thing that's kind of in the negative right now for me personally is the fact that Argentina lost against Ecuador yesterday. But other than that, I'm feeling good. I know, yes, that's
on the
good
other
for you
hand.
guys. That's good. That's
Right.
good pride for you guys. But other than that, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good to talk, to be here with you guys and talk in Miami, talk Messi and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, I'm doing good too, but I was just realizing right now how we have this new ad, and I'm super happy to have 305-800-PAIN on here, but we have to work on the graphic a little bit. As I realized, Ashley is behind. She's okay. She's reading the ad, and then it's like me and Matt are just like, what do we do?
It should have been the opposite. It should have been Ashley where I am.
Well,
Yeah,
we
so
wanted to make sure they were front and center. So we'll fix
but
it.
other than that, all
forward.
good. Always glad to be here. What is the saying? One person's sadness is another one's. I don't even know how that goes. But Matt is obviously sad Argentina lost. I'm happy Ecuador won. And Matt, chill out, bro. You guys, number one,
You didn't need it.
You didn't need this. I mean, we were already, qualified, but it was just for us. It was a moral victory. We won. So,
absolutely, no, 100%. And you guys deserve it.
And you know what we probably can say was probably the difference maker was there was someone who played in the first Argentina match in this international break that did not play in the second. And that is, of course, is Lionel Messi, who went and played what will most likely be his final professional competitive match for Argentina in Buenos Aires, where he played and scored 2 goals. Got a brace, Messi the brace man, as we've seen this season. Got to walk out on the pitch with his 3 sons. A beautiful moment with his family, and then at the end of the game, you saw the fireworks and played amazingly. And obviously he's not done yet. He's going to be playing for Argentina in the World Cup next year. We all know. He did mention a little bit of, based on my age, of course it makes sense, but he's also playing like a top 10 player in the world right now. So he's obviously just, saying what he has to say. But I think, Matt, you can speak to it first as, of course, the resident Argentine. What seemed to be a really beautiful send off after what was a very long journey as the player for Argentina, with many downs, but of course recently many ups. And so why don't you speak on that?
Many ups. And I was honestly getting very emotional watching the game. I was sitting there with my dad, and we watch it on the couch and our TV in our living room every single time. It's very religious how we watch the games for Argentina. And I think there was at one point I looked at him and I'm like, "Bah, this is the last time we're going to see Messi play for Argentina in Argentina. Like that's the last time he's ever going to be here. Like in his country, playing for his country
competitively. You never know.
Competitively, like if at least World Cup qualifying game. That's his last ever World Cup qualifying game.
Yeah.
I'm like, and I looked at him and I'm like, there's only so many games that he's gonna play with, with the Albiceleste shirt on, and it's like we just have to cherish every moment, and it was great. It was amazing. He scored 2 goals. He almost got a third. It was denied by offside. He's currently currently he is the top goal scorer in the World Cup qualifying. He has 8 goals, which is more than any other player in South America, and to do that, to end it that way, for your World Cup qualifying campaign, it's amazing. And so now we look to the World Cup, and it's very emotional. I don't know a world without Messi. Like
Yeah.
I remember watching him since I was 4 years old, and like since the start of his career, and literally, a life doesn't exist without him. And so now that we're getting closer to that, it's very, very emotional.
Quite a historic moment, I think, for Argentina and for many people that grew up watching Messi. Messi, I think, in Barcelona was obviously an idol, in Argentina just as much. And to see him finish his career in that fashion with 2 goals was just incredible. And Argentina, it's nice to see him come out as a hero. There were times in his career where he was bashed by the Argentina fans as somebody that was holding them down, maybe not living up to what they expected from him. He obviously had big shoes
Diego
to fill with
Maradona, of course.
Maradona and with others, and they blamed him for many years, just that he didn't live up to it. And he was doing things in Barcelona but not in Argentina, and I think he finally brought what he needed to that team. And at the end of the day, I think the Argentinians always loved him, but it's that tough love that when you have so much skill, so much future, they expect
And
more
when
from you. And
soccer is
it's
your
just it's
religion, right? Yeah.
yeah, and he gave everything he needed to give to Argentina, and Argentinians love him for that. So I love that he went out that way. And I think for a couple of tidbits that I think were interesting when they interviewed Messi and about his future is um, he said that he wasn't confirming if he was going to be in the next World Cup yet. So I thought that was something interesting, something that many of us kind of took for granted, and we're saying he's definitely going to be there in the 2026 World Cup. Um, I'm not saying I doubt it, but it's just interesting to have him say that it's not 100% sure. And another tidbit that came out of there is, and it leads a little bit into Inter Miami, is him saying he's going to see how he feels the rest of the season with Inter Miami and going into the preseason next season. So that was also a little
That he's
door opening
extending.
into
That's
that he's
so
extending. So that was
right.
cool. And then lastly, I'll just end with, it'll be interesting to see from an Argentina's perspective what they're gonna look like without him, what life looks like without him after the World Cup. Let's just say he plays, what they're gonna look like. Right now, I don't see um somebody that slots in right now, but they have guys like Mastantuono, Thiago Almada, that are guys that may have to grow into that Messi-esque role. So a lot of really interesting things there.
I think the team has actually a really good balance of old and young. When I look at the Argentine
Yeah.
team, like you have player, like you're gonna have Julian Alvarez, like Christian Romero, Alexis McAllister, Enzo Fernandez, Thiago Almada, etc., Rodrigo De Paul for many, many more years to come. Um, and obviously there's young people coming through the ranks. So I still think Argentina will be in good hands, but of course, like you said, I related to this, and I know most of the people who listen and watch our podcast are from the world of football, maybe international, maybe local. To me, it feels it felt similarly to when it was Dwayne Wade's last season in Miami. Because
Mhm.
for me, and obviously you guys too, since we are from South Florida, he was like my sports hero growing up. He brought the Heat, 3 NBA finals in basketball, and then he went on his last dance. Like when he went to Chicago, it broke my heart. Like it broke everyone's heart. But then he came back, and that final year feels similar because we watch some games and you're like, "He's still good enough. Don't go anywhere. Like, why are you
Yeah.
leaving us?" But, he got to have his, poetic justice of a goodbye to Miami, and I think similarly, Messi got to have that. Do you feel that kind of vibe? Like, is that a good comparison? I don't know. Maybe just it's a little
I'm
different,
not a
but that's
basketball
kind of
fan,
how
so I
I
can't
felt.
comment. I can't.
Right. But
I can't.
Gian, you're a big Heat fan, so you know where I'm coming from.
Yeah. I feel like if Matt probably understood a little more of that comparison, it's very relatable. It's just watching a guy that you grew up watching that won so many things for you. You're living those moments knowing they're his last. So
Yeah.
each one is like bittersweet. Each one you hold on to a bit more, and when it's finally over and done, you feel a little bit of a void. So
I was at his
I
last
feel like
game
Matt's probably
actually
feeling
in
that same thing.
Brooklyn.
Yeah.
My guy on my side of Ecuador, Ener Valencia,
Yeah.
he
Mm.
was a historic goal scorer for us. Just played his last game as well. Didn't receive as much as an ovation as Messi did by the Ecuadorians, but because we also
Unfortunately.
bitched at him a lot because he missed a
Yeah.
lot of goals. But he's a historic goal scorer for us. So, anytime that you have somebody that's done so much for your country, it always leaves a bit of a void. So.
Yeah, 100%. And so a beautiful send off for him. And like I said, him walking out with his sons, I thought was just so
Yeah.
beautiful. And how special it felt in the stadium. It was awesome. So we're happy for him. And he may say and be coy about it, but if I was a betting man, I think you'll see him going for one last title next summer
Yeah.
with Argentina. I'd be very surprised if he didn't, especially at the level he's playing at. So you have a little more still left to come. But now let's transition and, like you said, bring it back to Inter Miami, which is where he was today, back in training. Uh, After the international break, he didn't go to the game in Ecuador. He came back to Inter Miami, and he will be playing in our match on Saturday that we'll talk about in a little bit. But who won't be playing beside him is Luis Suarez, and I think we obviously, as an Inter Miami uh podcast, Messi podcast, but an Inter Miami podcast as well. Um, you know, we we're finally, I think, about to move on from the aftermath of that, terrible defeat in the Leagues Cup final against Seattle Sounders, and the melee that followed, um, and obviously including Luis Suarez spitting on or toward a member of the Sounders staff. He put out an apology a few days later. Um, he got a 6-game suspension for Leagues Cup, which obviously will be next year, and most likely we don't expect Luis Suarez to be on the Inter Miami next year, so it's not that much of a big deal. But what I think people were looking for, and what probably is fair enough, he is suspended for the next 3 matches in MLS, which includes obviously this Saturday, next Tuesday against Seattle Sounders, and then the following Saturday. What are our thoughts on it? Do we think it's just? Do we think just time to move on, knowing, was a statement enough? Kind of, it's an open-ended question, but how do we feel about what it has kind of been like, that this is how it's going to end in this particular for this saga?
Gian, I'll let you go first on this one.
Yeah. Um, so I guess not. Probably shouldn't go in at length of the whole situation. I think we already did that
Yeah.
and spoke about the actual situation. So just focusing on the suspensions themselves. There are questions. I've seen some that think it's too lenient. Like the 6 Leagues Cup matches means nothing because we don't know if he's going to be here next season. And at the end of the day, I mean, I don't know. People can think about whatever they want about leagues, except they don't see it that serious. What we really should probably focus on is the 3 MLS
Right.
matches, and is that sufficient for something of of, I guess, that of what he did? And I don't know. I don't know. I'm not someone who's in the disciplinary committee. I don't know.
Or an
Like
expert
I
on spitting. Yeah, no.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much spitting warrants.
It
I
happened in
think
the first
I
game of the NFL season. I don't know if you, not to
yeah.
bring every other sport into it, but that guy spit on him. It was kicked out of the game. It's like, what's going
Yeah,
on with
I
spitting
don't know.
right now?
All I know is this. So Did he deserve to be suspended? He did.
Yeah.
Do I think he deserved to be suspended more than one match? Yeah. So the fact that he got three, I think is in my opinion is more than one, so it's good. I don't know if four makes a difference, six makes a difference. Everybody's gonna. Some people may think 10. Some people may think he never should play again. I think that at the end of the day, that's tough. So I think three for me is okay. I'm fine with it. For me, I guess what I'm more focused on is how Inter Miami looks without Suarez. So I guess we can probably talk a little bit more about that, and we'll get Matt's opinion on the actual ban. But the three matches for me, I think is sufficient. I don't
And
know.
I really quickly, just to add a little context, it's 3 of only 7 regular season matches left, and, we are fighting for a higher playoff spot, so it's not like it's maybe to some people, I think it would seem lenient, but I think in the context, to me, I'll just because this will be the only thing I'll say on it, I think it's fair enough. Like, you could feel it could have been harsher, could have been less harsh. It didn't happen in MLS, so he shouldn't have got suspended. He did something reprehensible. He should. Like, I think in the end, it kind of all equals out with what it is gonna be. It's gonna hurt his team because we have very few games left. And he did something bad. He's getting punished from it, and then we move on. But then Matt, you go ahead and give,
Yeah.
your thoughts.
So first, 1000%, he deserves to be suspended. He deserves to be punished. What the act that Suarez did was absolutely terrible and it shouldn't exist in football. I looked into how like his other suspensions because obviously he's known for more than just spitting at somebody. And he's
Uses
gotten
the
like
mouth a lot, yep.
yeah, he uses a lot of mouth stuff. And he's gotten like 7-game bans, 9-game bans. He's been banned for I think it was 3-4 months when he bit Chiellini in the World Cup. So when you look at spitting and you see 3 and it's not like it's not a bad like it's not I don't know if it's not too lenient or not too harsh. Like people are saying he shouldn't play ever again. He should be his contract should be terminated. I think it's a little too extreme.
I agree.
But I think 3. I would have done 4. I would have done 4 matches because that's like
Right.
half of the rest of the season. And I don't want to get controversial because a lot of people are also saying, "Oh, MLS are doing this on purpose because they want Inter Miami to succeed and they want Suarez to play and whatever, whatever, whatever." But I don't think I think 3 should be. I think 3 is fine. For the Leagues Cup thing though is a whole different story. I think the Leagues Cup, he's probably like I said, he's probably not going to play next year. He's probably not gonna. It's like an empty sentence. He's probably not ever going to
Right.
serve that. And even if he
But it did
does,
happen in Leagues Cup, and they are the ones who had to do the sentencing, so, it's not like it
right,
happened in an MLS game,
sure.
so
And even
yeah.
if he does serve it next year, like let's say Leagues Cup does happen and like we play 2 games and let's say we do get knocked out, then he'll only like play 2 games and then after that he'll retire. That's if he's still here next year.
Right.
And that's if we play Leagues Cup or whatever. It's like what else could they do? They can't ban you for 4 months just for spitting on somebody. So I think 3 games in the MLS is fine and I think it's a just sentence and I think people should just kind of like
Yeah.
deal
They
with it.
basically kicked him out of Leagues Cup next season. But
Yeah,
if
he
he
can't,
plays,
Yeah,
that's what
he
it did.
can't play Leagues Cup.
And that
at
makes
all.
sense. That's where it
Right.
happened. So we have to remember, Leagues Cup has its own disciplinary committee. So like I'm
Yeah.
fine with the maximum of the penalty being applied to the tournament in which it happened. Like to me, that makes sense.
And then the ancillary, the 3
Yeah,
matches out of when
exactly.
knowing there's only 7 left, and
Yeah,
they're in the playoff hunt. They're in 5th right now. It's not like they're in 1st, so,
yeah.
and, he plays for us, so maybe obviously a third party would say maybe it could have been stricter, could have been less. I think in the end, probably evens itself out because if you're looking at it and if
Yeah.
you're thinking about it, it's 9 matches he's getting suspended for. The logistics of it happened in a different tournament, wasn't administered by the MLS. They added the 3 games. It's the end of the season. Miami is paying a price. He is paying a price, and we move, and we'll see how Inter Miami do. And for a while, fans and we have said this season, what would it look like without Luis Suarez? And how would our attack look? and having someone actually playing as a number 9 in their intended role, and we'll find out over these next 3 matches.
Yeah,
And
can I
that's
comment on that real quick?
yeah,
But I thought I tweeted out that um I thought that us kind of losing Suarez for about 3 matches was a kind of like a, what do you call it? A blessing in disguise, I
right.
guess,
Yeah.
because it forced us to play differently with a number 9 that actually attacks, because we don't need another person facilitating. We've got enough. And then I remember we don't have any 9s. So
Yeah, we don't have any.
Well, I think you'll probably see Tadeo Allende as the 9 and
because
have
Obando doesn't exist, right? Like
He's
I
still
don't know,
well,
injured.
he
I
was
don't know
hurt,
where he
right?
is.
Is he not hurt anymore?
Yeah.
I mean, and also asking him to start. I think we'll probably see Allende start in the 9
Yeah.
position.
But I guess what I was trying
Yeah.
to get at, I'm joking, but um, I think that hopefully they'll take this moment to figure out a different way to make this team play, a different way to make that forward role. They can put in Fafa Picot, for example. They can try with Allende more as a center, and just, I don't know, light a candle and pray to somebody and hope that something happens there. But the overarching idea is play with a center forward role that is actually going to be a reference point in the box. I just want to see what Inter Miami does with that. And then lastly, just because we were talking also about Argentina a bit ago, I really want to see Messi play higher up like he does in Argentina. I think that Inter Miami would be so much better if, for
And think about
example,
how many goal contributions he's had this season when he's hasn't been playing up as far as what does for
no, I
Argentina.
know, but I
Makes
think
you
that we
think how
need.
crazy it could be.
I think it would exactly. I think it would be much
Yeah.
better, because think about it. The team is set up for him to play higher. You have Yannick Bright and Busquets as your 2 pivots. Then you have right in the middle, you have De Paul, and then
Yeah.
imagine Messi and Suarez in front. Like I don't want to get into it, but I think that that's the route, and this may be an opportunity to try something like that.
Where Mascherano was having to be forced to have
Yeah,
to figure something else out. And right, could be a blessing in disguise. Obviously, when his suspension is over, he will come back in. But to your point, I think though what hopefully the team will learn is how to maximize the box and scoring opportunities, even if that means Suarez goes back to doing what he was doing with great assists. At least other people are finding the ways to score. That's what we hope we find in these next 3 days,
yeah,
these 3 matches, right? So let's start with the first one, and that is going to be our preview for Inter Miami versus Charlotte FC, taking place Saturday night in Charlotte at they play in an NFL stadium, turf turf field. But at this point, I mean, I knock on wood, God forbid I say it and then something happens. At this point, I don't think the turf thing matters really anymore to, Willie or won't he? He's played on every turf game this season, and it's been fine, but knock on wood. Um, Charlotte, though, obviously with players like Wilfred Zaha, who not too long ago was one of the top scorers in the Premier League. You have someone like Tim Ream, who's still, captain for the US men's national team, a really good leader. And Charlotte currently are in 3rd place in the East, and we're in 6th, Inter Miami. So, it's not this is like a team that's, I think this is their 3rd season, maybe, or yeah, 3rd season, I think. And they're playing at a very high level, and they have quality all over the pitch, so it's gonna be a difficult match, and it has to be a get right spot for Inter Miami because after obviously this disappointment and then the break, you now don't have Suarez and obviously Kremaski who went to Parma. Um, you need to win, and you need to back to assert yourself, and you need to get yourself higher in the playoff standings because it's not a doubt of if we will be in the playoffs to me, but it's a doubt now about seating and being able to host because that's a huge part of it. So yeah, how do we see this game playing out? Because on paper, maybe it doesn't seem like that big a game, but I think it's actually a pretty high stakes game based on what has unfolded over the last few weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Charlotte are one of the hottest teams in MLS right now, and they're currently sitting in 3rd. They're on track to being or to holding the title of the longest single season winning streak in MLS history. They're currently on 8 games winning, no ties. Like literally 8 games winning. The last time I think they lost a game was in June. So it's like they're going,
Yeah.
they're on a really, really hot streak right now, and they just need one more. They need to beat Miami in order to break that streak, or to have that that title over their heads, and they're gonna want to play. And actually, you said like the turf maybe doesn't matter a little more. I still think it does. So I recently started playing soccer again, and I played on grass, and then I played on turf, and that sucks. Like it
Yeah,
just
but Messi's performed well on
it
all his
messes with
turf
you.
matches this
Even
year.
the heat,
Um,
Matt, it's hotter.
it's hotter with the heat. I don't know if they'll deal with that in Charlotte. I have no idea. I don't know what it's like in Charlotte, but it definitely it has some sort of impacts. I'm sure with the professionals, maybe they're used to it by now, but I know if I was put out there, I would struggle heavy. I would take grass all day long, but it's gonna be tough. And with Charlotte playing, I think we've kind of like head to head against Charlotte. We've always, I don't want to say struggled, but it's always been very competitive. The last time we played Charlotte, I think, or the last two times we played Charlotte, we beat them once. We tied. It was 1-1. It was always very low scoring. So I expect something similar again on Saturday. I expect it to be very competitive. I expect Charlotte to give it their all. They're gonna have that home advantage. They're gonna see Inter Miami, get that 3-0 loss against Seattle, and they're gonna want to try to pile up that snowball. So it's
And
gonna be
without Luis
competitive for sure.
Suarez, who
And
still is
without
one of
Luis
the best
Suarez.
strikers of the 21st century. So it's not like, we have our opinions on him, but it's still a loss for Inter Miami. And I
Yeah,
think to your point, Charlotte are going to try and exploit the vulnerability. And this is really
absolutely.
about, can Inter Miami rise above it, and be able to turn the direction around. I think when you have players like Rodrigo de Paul, Busquets, Alba, Messi, they have that kind of attitude, I feel like. I think it's just about, will everyone else be able to get up, reset, shake off that last match and try and get back on track.
I
Absolutely.
was just looking at the 10-day forecast for Charlotte. It's going to be like 58 degrees, probably
Oh,
around game time. So it's not
oh
going to be
no.
too hot, but it's going
A
to
little
be, I mean,
cold
for us in
actually.
Miami, 58 degrees is like being in the North Pole. So
That's in the yeah, I was gonna say.
A little
yeah,
chilly out
so
there.
that'll be interesting to see
They're
how
gonna
the
be
boys
playing with
do on
hats and gloves and
Yeah.
100%. You will see. Wait,
Well,
scarves.
isn't that what it was in Argentina? Because aren't they in winter right now?
Yeah, it's cold over there.
So they
that's
Um,
true.
should.
Everybody was wearing sweaters.
Yeah.
No, I mean Charlotte, like Matt said, Charlotte's one of the hottest teams right now. And thank you for doing the math on that streak, Matt, because I was looking at their matches and I was scrolling to find their last loss, and I got tired. I just closed the window. I was like, I'm not gonna keep doing this. So
Gotta
thank you for
let
that.
Matt handle this.
Yeah, they they've done very very well.
Yeah.
They're very hot right now. Man, and the thing is, they have three guys that are basically taking the bulk of their goals, and then you still have a few other stragglers that are still putting in work. So I feel like they're a team that's very dangerous on attack, a team that's multifaceted and can attack from many different areas. And I think that'll be tough for Inter Miami. I'm looking at, for example, Pep Biel has 10 goals for them.
Yes.
Idan Toklomati has 8 goals, and then you have Zaha with 7 goals. You're talking about 25 goals between three guys, their main attackers, and then you have also Ayeman. I always butcher his name,
Yeah,
Patrick
Ayemang. You got that. I think
Ayeman.
you got that right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Ayemang.
and then he's got 6 goals. So it's
But
like,
didn't he just go on loan to Europe? Didn't he just leave?
did he?
He's at Derby County. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's
so you don't
in
have to worry
he's
about
in
him. I guess they haven't updated the roster yet. I'm looking directly on
right,
Charlotte's
right, right.
roster, but thank you for that. The point is that they have a lot of guys that can score,
Totally.
so a lot of different scoring threats there for Inter Miami to take care of. So I think that Inter Miami, along with Busquets and Yannick Bright and De Paul, are going to have to be in their A game. And then we've seen how leaky Inter Miami's defense can be. We know Maxi Falcone is going to be there. We'll have to see what the rest of that defense looks like, and what is Inter Miami going to look like on attack now without Suarez, is a big key point for them. Um, we'll have to see. It'll be an interesting game. It's a tough game to come back from as your first game back after a Leagues Cup and
It's a gut
being down
tester,
one of your most
right?
important players, one of your top assisters, and you're playing a number 3 team in the East. So it'll be a great game.
Fun
But it
fact.
could,
Also, Charlotte have a player named Ashley who is doing very well right now. So in the midfield. So
well, you know. I do what
Is
I
that
can.
oh
Uh,
no, that's who is that? Ashley
Ashley Westwood.
yeah.
Westwood.
He's a
I think,
35-year-old Englishman.
yeah, I was about to say Ashley Westwood was in the Premier League for I remember, and Ashley Cole was one of the best. Uh,
Ashley Cole.
Ashley Cole is one of the best defenders ever in Premier League history too. So hey,
And congrats to him. He just signed a new
diversity.
contract through 2027. Congrats to Ashley Westwood.
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. And we got we have a sponsor, so we're all making
Yeah.
bread. Uh,
Good day for the
I'm
Ashleys
sure
right
it's exactly the
there. Yeah.
same. But also, I am happy that I think it's Agyeman, again, probably butchering it, because I mean, I watched him take, even though it was the quote unquote B team, he played amazing for the US over the summer in the Gold Cup. And he's a dangerous player, so I'm happy he's not here. I'm happy he's actually, moving into England and hopefully moving himself up to the US men's national team, which is obviously where my allegiance is. But in terms of the match, you know, I think we'll be seeing will where can, to your point, one, will it be Ian Frey or Cello? Ian Frey had a bad match. There's no doubt about it, but he's still, I think, the better option as an attacker, and we obviously are going to need it. But he had a bad match, so I don't know. We'll see. Um, I'd like to see Noah Allen instead of Lujan, but we'll see. Um, or
Oh,
even Tomas Avilas, who is,
Well, he's suspended.
but
Isn't
that's
he
for
suspended
League
for
Cup.
MLS too?
And I
Oh,
think
it
it's
was
just
just
I
Suarez that
think it's
got
Leagues
MLS.
Cup. I think it's
No.
just Leagues Cup. I think, but we'll see. But like we'll see Baltasar Rodriguez, hopefully. Obviously Segovia, we expect to be in the starting lineup. Um, obviously Allende. I think Messi will have definitely a much more forward role. DePaul probably will have a little bit more of a forward role. And hopefully they can step up and make a difference, because I won't say this is a make or break match of the season. You still do have 6 matches after this, but I think this could be a really important way for Inter Miami to internally and with the fans flip the narrative and try and finish the season on a high. Um, Forget, supporter shield, forget being first, but just feel confident that we can go and we can have high seating and win the MLS Cup.
yeah.
And I think it's a good place to do it.
Ash, let me add that obviously, other than Suarez missing because of that, we also have because of the suspensions. Obviously, Kremaski, we know that is out on loan, and then Fafa uh, picked up an injury as well as David Ruiz, unfortunately,
Oh,
during
right. Fafa picked up an injury at Haiti. I
yes,
did see
Fafa
that.
and David Ruiz. So those two will also not be available for us, and then we're still waiting to see if Silvetti is available.
Right.
So yeah,
So I mean, I won't say what for this one. I think we should not do lineup predictions, because I actually think this is one where it is a very hard prediction to make, factoring in the injuries from international break, the Suarez suspension, etc. We have I couldn't even give you like what I think the guess is. Like I said, I think you'll be seeing, obviously you'll see Segovia, you'll see probably Allende. You'll see,
Yeah, yeah,
Baltasar Rodriguez. I think you'll
mm,
see those people, but how it's gonna look and where it's gonna look, I'm not sure.
it's exciting to be honest.
Yeah, right. It's the
I
first
think
time
we
we
should
really
we
don't
should
know what it's gonna look like, and
yeah.
so
So it's something
um
new.
I'm excited for it. All right, well, so you know, uh, got through a lot in a short period of time. And right before we go ahead and give our score predictions, make sure, of course, you're following us at Messi and Co. on X, the Everything app, as well as YouTube. We will be, of course, posting live game coverage on Saturday, hopefully, of what will be a winning game. But like I said, just really quickly, want to give a big thank you to our sponsor for today's episode, 305 800 Pain. 24/7 availability, always ready to call if you get into an accident. Trusted by the community, trusted by the Better Business Bureau, accident specialist, whether it's car, personal injury, and any legal matters. 305 800 pain. With that in mind, thank you again, and let's hear it, boys. I'm going last. I call it.
I almost broke my setup again.
So let's
I
hear
need
score predictions, and then make sure you comment on this video if you get the right score prediction and the scorers. I am making this promise now. You will get
You're
a
gonna
shout
shave your
out
head?
in the next
Oh.
episode.
Imagine.
You will get a shout out in the next episode. I
I
promise.
was hoping
Get
you
it
would
right.
say shave your head, but it's okay.
No,
That's-
I'm talking to the listeners. I'm not gonna
Got
make
it.
crazy
Got it.
claims like you,
Got it.
gentlemen.
Um,
But all right, Matt, why don't you kick us off?
I'm gonna say okay. So no Suarez, no Benja Gramaski, no most likely no Fafa, no David Ruiz, which we don't really see him anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I'm hoping to see Messi, De Paul, Baltasar, Telasco, Ashende. This is Busi and Bright. We should be able to score, man. I mean, like at least one. Like give us one. We need some redemption from last time out. I think it's gonna be a close game though. I think it's gonna be low scoring. I think Charlotte are gonna play really good defense. Honestly, I think we're gonna tie 1-1.
Damn it.
Is that what you were gonna say, Gian?
I was going to say the same just because I didn't
Then
want to
you
say we're going
can.
to lose.
You can say the same.
You
can say
could
the same.
you could predict that we're gonna lose. You know, no one. I don't think you'll get.
I
the
think
viewers.
we're
No,
losing.
that's traitor mentality. No, we don't. Messi and Co does not give Inter Miami losing as predictions.
That's
It's
funny.
All right,
forbidden.
so I'm going I think it's going to be 2-2.
A
I think
tie.
it'll be 2-2 tie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna be positive.
I'm being positive.
I'm gonna be even more positive. And I'm gonna say that
Oh man.
this is a match where you see the players of we said the Barcelona 4, but it's the Barcelona 3 plus someone who we know has the heart of a lion and the engine and Rodrigo de Paul. See them know the significance of this match, rally the troops, and turn it around and get a 2-1 victory. And I think it's going to be off of a messy brace once again. I think he's the fact that he didn't go to play in the second match in Ecuador, and the fact that he already mentioned preseason. I think he feels more and more special about Inter Miami and knows the history he's making. And I think even after the match on the Leagues Cup, I think he knows what he does for this team and for this community, and I think he's gonna bring that competitiveness along with everyone else, and hopefully it sparks the turnaround. So I'm gonna say the boys in pink come through with the 2-1 victory. But we'll see. Let us know in the chat. Any last words before we sign off?
I was just going to say from your mouth to God's ears. That's what they
Yeah.
usually say.
That's right, exactly. That's what we got. We got to believe, right? We got to believe.
The freedom to dream.
Freedom and dream.
Freedom
to dream.
to dream. Exactly. See what look where my poetry got me last time.
Yes.
But anyways, again, if you get the score prediction and the score is right, you will get a shout out, but only if it's with Inter Miami winning. If it's with us losing and the right results, I'm not going to read them. For this episode of Messi and Co, thank you again so much for watching. I'm Ashley. That is Gian. That is Matt, and we will see you next time.
See you guys.